Are we live? Are we? Oh, hey buds, it's Jamie. And welcome to a new news series where I'm going to be talking about who's who and what's what in the trans community. Not necessarily on social media, not really on social media, but the world and news stuff generally. I think it's really important to keep up to date with how trans stuff is progressing and sometimes quite often not progressing. This isn't supposed to be a tea spilling type video, it's not like all the drama, it's just a look into some of the stuff that has been happening recently in the world and stuff that has made it into mainstream media. And most of these things didn't require their own video really, so I thought I could mush them all together into one and maybe do this every so often. So yes, coming up in today's news, Piers Morgan is a penguin, the minefield that is Mumsnet, Transgender Trend, and Trisha Paytas. Sorry if you're sick of the last one, it's just a quick follow-up. Follow my lead, trust me, don't worry. And definitely make sure you stick around for the end for a very special section. First up, Piers Morgan is a penguin. So Piers Morgan is not a stranger to controversy at all. He's had his fair share over the years, and in the latest storm of controversial storm, a petition was started to get him fired from his job at Good Morning Britain based on his comments over gender and trans people and non-binary people and that sphere of topic. Yes, I would make a great news presenter. This all started a while ago. He's been making controversial comments about this, particularly non-binary people, for quite a while. And his response to there being identities beyond being a man and being a woman is to jokingly identify as a different race or species.
Can, as I did earlier, now identify as a two-spirit neutroid penguin. If I just decided to identify myself as a completely different skin colour to the one that I am.
His current Twitter profile picture is also of him as a penguin, while his head photoshopped onto the body of a penguin. But identifying as a different race or a different species is very different to gender identity and being transgender. You can't compare in any way being transgender or being non-binary to identifying as a penguin. He also seems to think that having gender neutral and non-binary options on things like Facebook and other forums, and just in general society, having more inclusion for people who don't identify within the gender binary, marks the end of the world and means there will no longer be such a thing as men and women.
Are we heading towards a gender-neutral
On
world?
the spot?
Who are they to change the way that men and women have been categorised for thousands of years?
They're not. They're not.
Why should everybody have to now conform to this tiny minority who woke up one day and went, I now want to be called two-spirit person? You think the Oscars should be, and now the winner of the non-binary award for acting goes to...
Well, why not?
people.
Why can we not actually recognise
Why not? Because it's
that category?
absolutely ridiculous.
Why?
Miss Devon said that rather than addressing children as boys or girls, they should be called pupils, students, or people. Miss Devon, do you get that? She's called Miss Devon, but can't call anybody else boy or girl, but she wants to be called Miss Devon. Why aren't you gender neutral, Miss Devon? You literally can't be a man anymore, can you?
Oh, Piers.
You can't. It's over.
Give it a rest.
It's over.
Honestly.
Literally, give it a rest, says two women on a desk, haranguing and bullying the only man at the desk.
Really? You're being bullied.
It's over. No more boys, no more girls, no more men, no more women. Yeah. It's over. The world is over. Good evening. This is the news bulletin of Good Morning Britain. Today, all girls will cease being called girls. All boys will cease being called boys. Can't we just have male and female police officers anymore? You made a point of saying you want to encourage non-binary people in Britain to become police officers, i.e. people who don't identify as male or female. And I guess my point to you is, why should the police be pandering to a tiny, tiny proportion of the country who decide they don't want to be called man or woman?
But he's missing the fundamental point here in that the world is just becoming a more open-minded and accepting place to people who do not fall within the binary. It does not mean that the categories of being male or female and having those options are going to be removed. Those categories are still there and you can ignore all the other ones if they don't fit you. This whole controversy, mostly the penguin thing, I believe, has led to there being a poll run on the Good Morning Britain Twitter page saying, should Piers be sacked or not? And I think to Piers' surprise, it did not go in his favour. But as this is supposed to be a very serious news reporting video, I need to show both sides of the story. And there is footage and evidence of Piers being quite open towards binary transgender people and not being mean about them.
As a Christian, I believe that to use pronouns in that way is dishonest. And I cannot do that in a good conscience.
But let me ask you, what is the pronoun that you object to? Because if a somebody born biologically male transitions to be female. Why would you not respect that? Why would you not just call them she?
The answer is I don't believe that a person can change sex. I don't believe a person can change gender and that sex and gender are the same thing.
Do you understand that that makes you a bigot? Apparently I'm transphobic. So despite spending the last 4 years explaining how I completely support everyone who transitions, and always have done, and completely support all transgender people who have to go through what is an extremely difficult physical, emotional, psychological process.
He basically claims that he has a massive issue with there being 100 gender options and the idea of men and women being eradicated and everything being gender neutral. Not that that is what's happening here. But really, I think he also has a fundamental issue with anybody who identifies outside of the gender binary of man and woman. So that counts for people who are non-binary as well. But he does not seem to have an issue with binary trans people, so that'd be trans men and trans women. It's just anything outside and beyond that is not valid in his opinion. He's also mocked Sam Smith, who recently came out as non-binary and has openly used the incorrect pronouns for them.
Sam Smith, the singer. He's announced that he can't work out if he's male or female, whatever. So he's now identifying.
Why doesn't he just have a look? Is he
Sam
trying to
Smith
flog
has
a record?
millions of fans, right?
Right.
What are they supposed to think?
He's also now saying that he identifies as Sam Smith, saying it works both ways and he can now collect royalties. As if an appropriate response to somebody coming out as non-binary is to now say you can identify as a completely different person and gain their money. So he's not just a penguin, he's Sam Smith. He's a Sam Smith penguin. A penguin who looks like Sam Smith? Or a penguin, I don't know. Something to do with penguins and Sam Smith. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? It kind of feels like Good Morning Britain is starting to just use him to get views. I say kind of feels like, it definitely feels like he's just being used as the controversial voice who divides opinion and gets views and trends on Twitter. When really, instead of gaining off the controversy and the upset caused, something serious should be done about it. If your opinion is going beyond that of an opinion and is now becoming damaging and mocking and hurtful to an entire group of people, no matter how small that group of people might be, I think something should be done. And I feel like Good Morning Britain are now just using him for views and attention. For example, on their own YouTube, they have posted compilations of his most angry, controversial, and out there comments. They've put it all together in very neat little videos for you to watch. Next up, Transgender Trend, because revenge really is sweet. The Transgender Trend website is run by a group of UK parents who, and I quote, I need my glasses for this, 1 second, are concerned about the current trend to diagnose children as transgender, including the unprecedented amounts of teenage girls suddenly identifying as trans. Rapid onset gender dysphoria. FYI, rapid onset gender dysphoria is not a real thing. It was shown in like one study and it's not actually real. It also gets worse. Continuing the quote, "We're also concerned about legislation which places transgender rights above the right to safety for girls and young women in public toilets and changing rooms, along with fairness for girls in sports." I honestly can't stand all this bull about bathrooms and changing rooms and safety. Does nobody realise that the same kind of safety and danger they're talking about girls and women being in, boys and men can also be in as well? Because people who commit sexual assault are not just interested in girls and women. It might be more of the time they are, but it isn't exclusive. Plus, if a man really wanted to use the women's toilets and commit a crime, or changing rooms and commit a crime, and it was quiet enough for them to do so, I really think the last thing on their mind about getting in trouble for would be going into the incorrect toilet or changing room. I don't think they're going to be concerned about if they're allowed in there or not. And this is all without mentioning the fact that you are actually putting girls and women in danger by making trans girls and trans women use men's bathrooms and changing rooms. That's really putting people in danger. I could go on about the flawed logic of this forever, but this is not what this section is about. This section is slightly more positive. Actually, it's much more positive than that. Essentially, some wonderful hero purchased the domain transgendertrend.co.uk and redirected it to the Mermaids website. And Mermaids is a fantastic organisation that you should definitely go check out, who aim to help young trans people and their families and raise awareness of trans issues and the community, and are just all round wonderful towards trans people. So that's brilliant, especially as Transgender Trend is UK based, so presumably they would want the .co.uk domain name. Unfortunately, the .com version does still take you to their website, but we live in hope. Moving on, Mumsnet Mayhem. It's not really mayhem, I just wanted to have a catchy title for this segment. Mumsnet is kind of known as being a bit of a hotbed for transphobia. And this is something I will actually make a dedicated video about in more depth. I have it planned for a while. it is gonna happen. But there's a very particular thing that's happened recently that I just wanted to cover here first. In short though, the core of the Mumsnet transphobia revolves again around the whole bathroom and changing room issue, as well as allowing young children to transition. And funnily enough, but not surprisingly, there is also a lot of support on Mumsnet for the previously mentioned Transgender Trend website. A lot of people seem to think it's fantastic. But for now, the latest transgender poop storm on Mumsnet is that they are boycotting Flora. Yes, Flora, the margarine. But it's not butter. Actually, I don't think it's that one. Utterly butterly. Can't believe it's not butter. Well, I say they're boycotting Flora, but they're actually boycotting Upfield that produces Flora along with other things. And basically this all started when Upfield pulled out of an advertising partnership with Mumsnet over concerns about the amount of transphobia on the website. The follow-up from this was a thread on Mumsnet saying that users should never ever buy anything made by Upfield again, including the popular margarine brand. The correct response would have maybe been to address the concerns that Upfield had and other people have over the amount of transphobia and transphobic users on the site. But no, instead, a handful of very angry, slightly more than a handful, quite a few angry users are now going to stop buying fake butter. Thank you, Upfield, for standing up for your values. And for the final headline of today, Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas. Okay, yes, I've already covered this. But I wanted to do a very quick follow-up without making a second video on it because I believe there's been an apology and a TMZ interview. Is it TMZ or is it TMZ? I don't know.
I put out that video and in no way did I think I would get so much backlash and hate. A ton of hate from the LGBTQ plus community. That alone breaks my heart so much because I never would want to offend. This is something that I have just felt since I was 5, 6, 7.
And the main issue that has arisen from this whole Trisha trans storm is the perception it gives of trans people and being transgender. Personally, I think only time will tell. I think Trisha has said what has been said, and there's maybe some realization going on about what was said wrong and why it was hurtful and all of that stuff. And right now I think the issue has been discussed to death and Trisha has been extremely trolled, and I don't think it was necessary to be that mean to somebody. I think Trisha just needs to go away and figure out what is going on. Away from the internet and not say anything else on trans issues until thoughts are maybe a little bit better constructed and not as damaging. My final comment is that the apology seemed genuine, but who knows, I might be being very naive. But like I said before, it's not my place to judge somebody else's identity, and you do not know everything from watching somebody or knowing what somebody posts online and says online. It's very different to private lives. Finally, on to the most exciting section of this video and the bit that I told you to stick around for. We're at the end, and this is, don't sue me Russell Howard, Jamie's good news. Yay. It's all fun and games reacting to a bit of drama and discussing where things have gone wrong and correcting things that have been said that are damaging and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. But there's all too often so much negative stuff both in social media and mainstream media about trans people and just generally not very nice things happening or being said about the trans community. So I wanted to end each and every episode of this, don't know how many there's going to be yet, but I want to end every single one I do with some good news stories from mainstream media and personal stories that you guys have sent in, which I asked for on Instagram, so thank you everybody who sent them in. If you don't follow me on Instagram but you have a good news thing that you might want in another episode of this, then there is a link in the description box below if you want to go follow me on there. This time around we have some very cute stories and some very cute personal moments that have been shared. So first up, a trans woman was added to the BBC list of 100 women of 2019, which is a very cool thing to see mainstream media saying definitively trans women are women. India saw its first wedding between two transgender people and the photos are beautiful. I definitely recommend you go and read more about this and check it out more because it looks wonderful. And always, the company that makes the stuff for that time of the month has removed the feminine logo, the Venus symbol, from the packaging of its sanitary hygiene products. And this was done in an effort to be more inclusive of transgender people. There seems to be a lot of mixed reviews on this though, and this might also be a topic I talk about more in future. And in the more personal updates, we've had a lot of people who have gained acceptance from family, friends, schools, other places, and it's always wonderful and heartwarming to hear about people getting acceptance. Lots of you have been able to start your physical transitions or had friends who started their physical transition recently, which is very exciting. Congratulations to everybody that is applicable to. And then just a bunch of other cool stuff seems to be happening out there for a lot of people. So being trans can be tough, but it is not all doom and gloom by any means. And yay! That's it for the first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this has not been incredibly long. And also, my battery has been flashing red at me this entire video and I'm really surprised it's not died. Let me know if I missed out on anything important that you think I should have included or that I should include in the next video. Leave it down in the comments below. Just come and comment and have a chat. Yeah, say hi. Or something else, I don't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, but no pressure. I make videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and I don't think I've ever said that in a video before. I've been Jamie, over and out, Spud Squad. That was the news outro, and it feels weird to not say. Thank you for watching, see you next time, much love, bye. But we're gonna stick with the news outro because this is a different type of video and I need to get used to change. Oh, the video ends, I was about to say my actual outro. No, just stop it, bye, 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 bye. Oh, hello, again, I'm not actually done. Big shout out to my wonderful partner Shabo who helped me structure this video and sort it out and everything, so you should definitely go check out her channel. The link is in the description box down below.